I already had a brand that was so strong with my personal life from Nadeshot and my professional gaming years. I actually was thinking it was going to be pretty successful just from the start. I felt like we were just kind of ahead of the game with that $10 million and was just like, let's go, let's hit the ground running. It's like you walk through a door and you're just in with all the rest of the like really good professional kids. It was a lot of networking, funny enough. Trying to get kids like who you knew were better than your teammates to sketch on their team.
What do those conversations look like? Trying to convince somebody to leave their team to come to yours.
Your boy is dog shit. I've got the screenshots of when we scrimmed you.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? Come play over here.
A moment though that was big for the gaming community was you going 1v1 versus FaZe Banks.
Yeah, I got fucking ambushed, bro. He did sniping, I did professional Call of Duty. It's completely different form, completely different guns. You're making all the excuses, Nadeshot. I got set up, bro. I wanted to create a brand that didn't feel like creator merchandise. Let's create something that doesn't look like gaming, that doesn't feel like gaming. If you saw somebody walking down the street, you wouldn't think this is a gaming organization. But if you did see somebody, it's like, oh shit, if you know, you know. It was a big part of our revenue for the first couple years. I mean, we were doing in like an hour over $1.5 million on like 5-6 different drops of the year. I'm just trying to be the biggest spotlight for the brand as I possibly can, because I think with my success comes the company's success. I'm bringing these people along for the ride, and that was the original thesis of the business.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 120 of the 505 podcast. Today, we're welcome with a very special guest. We got Nadeshot in the building, dude.
Nice.
This one was crazy.
It's a funny pod.
Insane that he's built one of the biggest esports companies and brands. It was incredible to just hear from the very beginning how it all started to now where it's at and where he's taking it.
It's crazy also that content was at like the forefront of what allowed him to create 100 Thieves into what it is now. He was talking about how like Nadeshot, the brand, became so big that it gave him the confidence to even create 100 Thieves in the first place.
It was insane too, just to see like someone who's been at it for so long. He was a pro gamer before playing Call of Duty, and now he streamed 9 hours before he came to do the pod.
Right before the podcast.
Guy was locked in the whole time.
He can just talk,
cracking jokes for an hour and a half.
I loved how he was talking about photography too, and like what a transition that is, like gaming photography, but like that gaming finger, dude, I bet he hits the shutter so fast. I bet he never misses up.
Instantaneous.
So fast.
I think if you're a creator, you're a gamer, you're anyone in the space that's interested in content creation, I think you can get something from this episode and take it and to put it in the work that you're doing.
What's also crazy is we've never had anyone on the podcast who's raised money for their company in multiple rounds. So to hear his mindset business-wise and how that all played out was pretty crazy.
It was amazing. Okay, now 50% of you guys still not subscribed. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button, dude. Let's get into the Nadeshot episode. Come on, give me the one-handed crack, Matt. Let's go.
Right off the rip?
Right off the rip.
All right, just gotta hold.
Yeah,
damn, he's nailing it.
You're scaring me.
Oh shit, dude, that was pretty fucking.
All right,
solid.
put it down. You popped the dent out. Now that was good stuff because the dent really does dock you. I'm gonna give you a 6'4", baby. Welcome to the show.
I think you got boned. I feel like that was high.
Bro, the dent happened after I opened
No, but see, it's gotta be like that. Was a really good one. See how it doesn't have any dents.
I want a fucking replay. Here, we're gonna put that to a vote because I feel like I just got scammed.
So I'm all about. Oh, fuck me.
Swing and a miss. Whoa.
Swing and a miss,
I've
dude.
never
Strike one.
I've
Strike
never
one.
seen that happen before.
But dude, I hit a homer on the second.
So here's the thing. Kostas is one of the worst at the game,
yeah,
but you gave him a skinny can, so he might have a chance today. You spilled half the drink.
I did spill a little bit too. Okay.
No, but it wasn't as bad as that. That was way worse.
There's strict rules. I actually thought his was kind of nice, dude.
I want to see in the future.
Cheers.
I got to look up the VODs. What your guys is? What's higher than a 6'4"? I mean,
well, he gives himself like
the problem was the dent. Okay, if you would have came down and the dent wasn't there, you popped it back out. So I gave you like a little charity point. The dent, if it is in the can when you set it down, it's no longer above a 5. So I gave you some help.
I would have liked to see the fucking rule sheet.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I have a reel.
Didn't give you a much.
I got a reel.
I would like to know though. A little heads up. All right,
dude.
That's gonna fuck with me for the rest of the day. I'm not gonna lie.
Welcome to the show,
Thank
dude.
you.
Welcome to the show.
Hyped to have you.
Yeah, dude. Also, shout out Brandon Weiss.
Yeah.
Shout out Brandon Weiss. He
Legend.
came with me to buy this watch. Actually, funny enough, he came with me to Jewelry District and
Sounds about right.
yeah, nah, he was my
Sounds like
Sherpa,
Brandon.
dude, or he was my spirit guide. I thought we were gonna get robbed in broad daylight. I'm being totally serious. It's fucking. I hate downtown.
Oh, that's the worst.
I fucking hate that place.
I had 4 night shoots in a row, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in downtown. It was the scariest. We had a person get groped like on our team. Like it was
really?
crazy. Oh yeah, dude.
Oh,
we had
Lord.
security the whole time. Not a fun
Downtown's
place.
sus,
By a
dude.
homeless person?
Yeah, yes sir. 4 a.m. not fun.
Holy shit.
Man.
No, thank you.
You going to Texas for it?
Yeah, genuinely. I mean, funny enough, I did. What you guys know? Adam 22. What's his podcast called?
Oh yeah.
No jumper.
No Jumper. I did No Jumper like 6, 7, 8 years ago when he was first getting. He just started first doing episodes with like YouTubers and creators, and I didn't realize. And you guys are gonna think I'm bougie. I'm not trying to sound bougie. This is certainly a first world problem, like champagne problems. But he didn't tell me his studio was like a block away from Skid Row.
Oh.
And if I would have known that, I would have Ubered, because when I got down there, I was in a G-Wagon and I had to find a parking place and there was absolutely fucking nothing. Dude, I thought that car was I would come back to it
No
with the
wheels.
wheels gone.
Yep.
I
Or
was
just gone.
Tweaking, brother. Tweaking. Great episode though.
Yeah, I think I've seen his other podcast, but I don't remember. Is that the same guy I'm thinking of?
Yeah, it's the same guy.
I've seen those for sure.
You locked in.
I haven't seen any in you.
Mine doesn't
with
have a
you.
paywall. You can see it.
Well, Matt, something we all really, really admire about you is like what you've been able to build with 100 Thieves. But before you built 100 Thieves, you were crushing it with another org as a pro gamer. So we really want to know, like, why did you decide to start your own company?
I never really intended to start my own company, to be honest with you. Like, I came out to LA, left Optic, quit playing games competitively just because I was making so much money and with less work, less stress. I didn't have to rely on like my teammates, good days, bad days, just making videos on the internet and streaming. So it was really more of like a business decision than anything. And then kind of had not a falling out with Optic. It was just at that time, I felt like there was so much upside that I was missing out on in terms of, and I had just quit competing. And then like 3-4 years ago, I was still like working at McDonald's and dropped out of community college. So I just kill it. Like I got to make money and it doesn't matter how I get it. And so I moved to LA, left Optic, and then just was kind of burnt out from YouTube already within a couple years. You guys do this podcast episode consistently. Like I applaud you because 160 something episodes, like I was uploading every single day on YouTube to 2 channels, 3 videos a day, and it just fucking burned me out. And so when my buddy brought up the idea of starting my own organization, because he worked for a venture fund that was looking to invest in esports, and he used to be a fan of mine when he was younger, so he thought of me, built a deck, we pitched it to Dan Gilbert, and a couple months later we had $10 million investment in our seed series. So
Damn.
it sort of just happened. It was like an escape for me. I got to try something different and turn over every stone just in case like YouTube isn't for me full time. Let me see what I can do from a business perspective. So
Is your partner who you're talking about John Robinson?
that's my former partner. So I think he's working at EA now. I'm talking about a guy named Blake Robbins.
Okay.
Yeah, he works in ventures. He's a really smart guy. Like I would recommend a follow on Twitter. He's probably one of the most successful and youngest like tech investors. He literally is in. I think his bio says something corny, but it makes sense. He's like, oh fuck, something on the edges of the internet. That might dock some points for Blake, but I promise you, this guy's electric. He's like this kid that just sits in his fucking basement. He's got a beautiful family now, but he sits in his basement and he just looks up weird companies that are doing things differently in tech. It sounds like snake oil, but he's worked for like the biggest funds. He was like, for anybody that's familiar with Benchmark, they're one of like the most successful venture funds in the world. And he worked there for 2 years. He's the best.
So you get
yeah,
get a business partner he was immediately in. You're like, yo, let's partner in on this, or was it kind of like a slower?
So he helped me broker like the investment with Dan Gilbert, and his fund that he was working for at the time, Ludlow. They were part of that $10 million seed series, and then he was on the board. And he introduced me to John Robinson, who's my former business partner, who's not with the company anymore. And we set it out there back in 2017, right off the rip. We barely knew each other.
Wow.
Damn, dude.
So
Yeah.
you get all this money from funding. Did it scare you at all to go from, we don't have any money, now we have
Right.
millions of dollars and we have these expectations to hold up, to Dan and to other people
Yeah.
in this fund? Like, what was that like?
Honestly, I don't think I fully grasped like what was happening because it all went so quickly. I mean, I don't mean to sound like the village idiot, but the gravitas of $10 million, that wasn't daunting to me. Like I wasn't worried about it because that was actually kind of like a small check that was written in eSports at the time, which is insane to think about. And I already had a brand that was so strong with my personal life from Nadeshot and my professional gaming years. I actually was thinking it was going to be pretty successful just from the start. Like we would obviously catch up to some of these legacy brands that have been around for over a decade just from my pre-existing audience alone.
Right.
Because, you know, there's different types of fandom, I think, in the world of creators, especially now. It's like wildly different. All the demographics are vastly different. But back then, if you were like a hardcore professional player and you had a successful career, like people would follow you while you do anything. So I felt like we were just kind of ahead of the game with that $10 million and was just like, let's go, let's hit the ground running and make up some time.
Do you remember what the first hires were?
That
you brought on? What were they?
The first hire, and to be clear, John Robinson handled a lot of the initial hiring. You know, I was obviously a part of all the interviews because it was like 2 employees, but the biggest thing that I think I helped with, had an impact on, were our content hires. So we hired a CFO, his name's Jason Tan. He's still with the company, still our CFO. He's a great guy, came over from Riot. Then we hired basically like a head of content at the time. It was some kid named Gabriel Rees, and he used to work for Team Liquid. And he still works at the company to this day. I think he's made a bigger impact on the company creatively than I have. The guy just understands the internet so well. And if you go back and watch our first few videos, you'd understand why. Brought over another content guy named Logan Dotson, who was working at FaZe at the time to help with Gabe editing. They worked at Team Liquid together. And then my buddy Jackson Dahl, who was working in Venture at the same time as well. Julia Wu, who was, I think, working at CLG. She was like our head of social. So I remember like probably the first like 10 to 15, 20 employees.
Wow.
It also sounds like you got crazy retention. Like they just stay there. It's got to be a good sign for something
yes and
you're
no.
doing, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the cool thing about esports. You know, it's got pros and cons, but for a lot of people that work in esports, you kind of stay there for the rest of your career. And that's not always the case, but because they found the thing that they genuinely love. You guys know how it is. Like at the end of the day, something's going to feel like a job. It doesn't matter how much you fucking love it. It's going to feel like a job. But I think they just felt and were obviously such a big part of 100 Thieves' success. It's like hard to walk away from that.
I mean, you were also doing something different than what I saw when I went back on your YouTube way down to the very beginning days. You started to vlog. Was that a pivotal moment that you saw maybe, like, did you see a creator doing that and you're like, we could do that in esports, or this could be something different that we could kind of do to spice up the channel?
You know, I don't know if it was that intentional back then. I feel like I've kind of gotten lucky where the things that I enjoyed doing just so happen to be at the very beginning of that thing being done on the internet, like streaming yourself playing video games. That is just sheer luck. Like my older brother was bigger than me, faster than me, more athletic, piece of shit. And I am better than him at golf nowadays. But like, I just wanted to beat him at something. I couldn't do it at regular sports. It was like video games. I just got fucking addicted to it. And then all of a sudden, it's the biggest thing on the internet. And I was there from the start. And then the same thing kind of happened with esports. I mean, I wasn't there from the very beginning of esports. If you want to go back to the early 2000s, like PC, Counter-Strike, fucking StarCraft. But I've been doing it my whole life, basically.
In that moment when you're like, okay, I'm going to get better at my brother at video games.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm awesome at video games. And then how do you like, I should make money. People should pay me because I'm so good. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that think they're good at video games, like friends of mine. But like, there's no way in their head they're thinking like, I should go pro. You know, like, how do you make that jump?
Yeah, man. Again, bro, kind of like the timing of it all.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much competition. I mean, there's still kids that some of the best in the game. Some of them that I teamed with are still playing to this day.
Right.
But it was just one of those things where there was no money for professional play. I mean, the tournaments that you would go to at the very beginning, you're competing online for a couple $100s. And then one time a year, they'd have a LAN that was like a $50,000 grand prize, which was fucking insane. And then all of a sudden in the early 2010s, there was a tournament that was called COD XP. Call of Duty was dropping Modern Warfare 3, the original, for the first time. And they wanted to use COD XP to market the event. So they had a huge tournament with $1 million prize pool. And our team coincidentally just ended up winning that, used that money. And then that's what Optic at that time was known for.
Oh.
They didn't have a competitive team. They were just a bunch of YouTubers that were kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters of Call of Duty. Like, they didn't compete, but they did really cool shit and it looked awesome. And
Oh, funny.
so that right there was kind of like the moment where prize money started increasing. ad revenue was possible on YouTube. Like people were finally able to monetize their channels. All the MCN started popping up, machinima, full screen, all this shit. And that's when the gold rush really started.
What made you want to go all in with Call of Duty as opposed to another game?
I was just better at it. Like I played Halo 2, was kind of too young to compete. Gears of War 1 was actually my first event in 2007 in Chicago. We were one match away from placing pro. I tell the story a lot, but we literally got knocked out by a kid that was like 8 years old. And his name was Gringo Jr. And he was and he was in a wheelchair.
No.
Yeah.
And he kicked your ass.
No, I went last round, last map. I was 14, but
Yes.
even then, that's still not a good excuse.
Curb stomping him and stuff. Doesn't feel quite right.
That kid was slamming our shit. And then Call of Duty came out, and I just gravitated toward. I was just better at it.
Yeah.
So again, just right place, right time. Yeah. I'm starting to think I just got really lucky. I kind of know that, but
And then you just like enter yourself into a COD tournament because you're like, I'm fucking great at this.
kind of. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like I don't know, AAA baseball. You know, there's like not a farm system, but there's like a website that everybody would play on, and then you would just make teams, go on the forums, like recruit kids, and then as you got better, you would meet better players, and then all of a sudden you kind of like. It's like you walk through a door and you're just in with all the rest of the like really good professional kids. It's kind of like it was a lot of networking, funny enough. Trying to get kids like who you knew were better than your teammates to sketch on their team. Like there was no rules, there was no contract. So if there was a reality show that tracked like competitive Call of Duty from the jump, I swear to God, it'd be as big as Jersey Shore, real world road rules.
And so
These kids we were fucking lunatics, bro.
what do those conversations look like? Trying to convince somebody to leave their team to come to yours.
Your boy is dog shit. I've got the screenshots of when we scrimmed you.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? Come play over here.
Dude, that's so funny. Yeah. I used to make trailers. Like I used to work in my first ad agency, we had Call of Duty as an account. I used to make like trailers.
Okay.
And we launched like CDL and stuff, but they didn't have a lot of like
You would make the trailers for the games?
no, not the trailers. Well, actually we would cut those up.
What was the name of the company?
Space 150. It's like they do like social stuff.
Okay, fuck. I had a buddy that made trailers for Call of Duty. I was wondering if you worked there.
He might have. We actually, we'll get into it later, but
Sorry to cut you off.
we had to I had to like cut stuff, like hype videos, and you would be like Scump yelling like, I'm the best at the game! Like
Yeah,
stuff
he
like
did that shit.
Dude, it was so
I couldn't
fun.
do that shit.
It was so funny how hyped everyone would get. But I'm like, this is crazy. I didn't know anything
Yeah.
about this world, and these guys are fucking nuts. Like,
Yeah.
fun to edit, honestly. It's not a question. I just was excited
Yeah, it's
about
kind of
it.
like the WWE.
Yeah.
It's like none of the beef that the kids and players had was like orchestrated. But since we were all we were just fighting to win because you couldn't really make that much money back then. So if you didn't like somebody on their team, you truly hated them. You had nothing to lose. So yeah, it was a good time.
When you eventually go off and you make your own thing, were those conversations beforehand like, yo, I'm making something. Come play with me. We're gonna make like this insane team. Because I saw a clip long time ago, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. You're on a podcast and you were saying how you weren't the best at COD, but you were great at networking and you were good. You knew your role. You knew how to win. And so how do you go about and get these guys? You're like, yo, let's go dominate this space and like come play with me. Let's make our own team.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be easier than it was. At that point, I thought that I had a pretty good gift of gab and could sell players on the dream that I sort of used, like the same timeline, the same blueprint. But unfortunately, a lot of players, which I think is a good thing and a bad thing, a lot of them don't care about the content. They don't care about like the size of the team or the level of pressure that would be on them playing for our team. A lot of them were really just looking for the best contract that they could find. And we spent the first couple of years matching other teams, which was kind of tough because selling the dream to those players, a lot of them actually wanted to go play for established organizations that had like a winning history, and it just, for the games that I wasn't a part of or knew a lot of people, like League of Legends and Counter-Strike, there wasn't anything that I could say to actually sell players, I feel like. And some of them might hear this one day and disagree with me, but I thought I would have like a better, like Derek Jeter talking to a fucking baseball player, not comparing myself to Derek Jeter for what it's worth, but I don't know. I feel like if I were a kid, I grew up watching fucking Derek Jeter, I'd want to go play for the Marlins. I know he's not doing that anymore, but it was fucking harder than I thought. We just had to pay for him.
Was it was salary or how did it work?
Yeah,
back in the day?
salary.
It was salary.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to think all this venture money came into it. So the agents and the managers of these players just started fucking, all the teams too, we kind of bet each other up, which there's obviously, you can't collude with another team like, hey, this is the max we're going to pay. But since all these big checks were being written, everybody, you know, saw if your team was winning, it was like a faster track to get more sponsors, more merchandise sales. So we all bid each other up, and yeah, it was a shit show, to be honest with you.
I don't know if we're starting. I love Artlist so much, dude, because I keep making a lot of stuff for myself lately.
Okay.
And it's just a one-stop shop. I literally go to Artlist. I'm like, oh, I need VO. Oh, done, dude.
Easy.
Oh, I need music. I need sound effects. Oh, I think I need stock footage. I literally have used Artlist. Like, I'm probably their user number one right now on their charts.
The Mercedes shoot that we did, not only did I had to make 2 videos, okay? Not only did I pick both of the music for each video from Artlist, I had all the sound effects. I kind of went ham on the sound design.
You ate with the sound design. I will say it's actually unbelievable. Every single thing you need is on Artlist.io. Music, sound effects, stock footage, you name it. And you also get 2 months for free if you use the 505 podcast link for a year subscription down below. Let's get back in the episode.
You brought up how you guys pitched Dan Gilberts.
Yeah.
Did he know anything about esports? Like,
Was it
what
just hot at that time?
What does that pitch look like? Like, trying to tell him, like, hey, I'm starting this thing. It's going to be massive. Did he just kind of believe you? Like, did he know anything about esports? Or, like, what does that pitch look like?
Well, what's great about, you know, being a billionaire and having such, and he earned it. Like, he started Rocket Mortgage from the ground up. And so somebody with that level of responsibility, he's obviously not, you know, on the internet till 1 o'clock in the morning looking up esports and checking the forums like we used to. But he's got a great team of folks that are, it's like a family office, you know, their entire job is to, how do we grow this wealth? And looking for savvy investments is probably the best way to, you know, hit a jackpot and have like the next Facebook on your hands. I'm not saying esports is that, but that's what you see a lot of these family offices do that have high net worths. And so one of the guys that worked for him, Blake Robbins, he grew up on the internet, same thing, watching Call of Duty. And esports at that time was like seen as this opportunity to own the Lakers before they were the Lakers. Like, let's get into the NBA, the NFL, the MLB in like the fucking early 1900s. We're going to be rich. I know baseball goes that far, but basketball, that's like 50, 60, something like that. I don't know.
Close enough.
I digress. So that was like their entire goal. Like, he was definitely aware. He was privy to what was going on in the space just because other of his colleagues were investing as well. But Dan Gilbert's a really smart guy. As soon as he started paying attention, he actually had some great advice for us early on in the company. And the people that worked for him to this day are still on the board. So I feel very lucky that was like our founding partner, because he's shown us nothing but respect and guidance when we need it.
What was some of the advice that he said to you when you were starting out with this company?
The first time we went to Detroit, like Dan Gilbert owns, I think, more than 70% of every building in downtown Detroit.
Holy shit.
It might be a little less or a little more than that now, but I don't think, like, Detroit is fucking huge. And he's basically been rebuilding it and renovating it from the center out. And so that's where the Rocket Mortgage and like StockX headquarters are. And we went there with like the first iteration of our company, probably like 10, 15, 20 people with our League of Legends team, because Rocket Mortgage is one of our partners. And we toured the offices, and then we got to sit with Dan Gilbert in his boardroom. And the first thing he did a fucking magic trick. Like, I'm like, this guy's fucking awesome, bro. I love this guy. And then,
What kind of magic trick? Like a card trick?
I think if I remember correctly, it was a card trick.
Nice.
It's like, watch me pull this rabbit out of this.
Yeah, no, it was. I was going bonkers, like fucking ape shit, because this guy's worth so much money, and I was just kind of out of my depth. And after that, it was really more just trying to help us teach the proper leadership to the company, like being so entrepreneurial in this new space with all this opportunity in front of us, and making sure that we lead it with the respect it deserves and the killer instinct that you need to kind of be king made in that industry. So it was pretty electric. I thought this guy was like Denzel Washington and Remember the Titans. I wanted to run through a wall afterwards for him.
It's
on that.
That's how you had to sell the dream.
Yeah. Dead ass. Smart guy, man.
I also guess, going back to my original question, like 10 million to him is probably a drop in the bucket. So he's probably like, it seems cool. Like, I'll invest.
Yeah. Being rich is awesome. It's fucking, I mean, it wasn't entirely like his capital was deployed a bunch across like 2 or 3 different of the venture funds that actually invested. So It's honestly like he didn't even really need to hedge his bet. Like it was so free. It's so easy for him.
Is that still there right now with these funds, or have they kind of moved on to AI and other different things?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think venture, there's some things I don't like about venture, and it's certainly just the attitude. I think everybody in venture, like you feel it outwardly, where it's like they're running these Twitter threads and they say the most obvious shit. And they're over here trying to be like Gary Vee. I'm like, all right, no disrespect to, I mean, you know who you are, but they do jump from trend to trend. And I agree. I don't think that esports would be a great investment right now, especially in this economic climate. But yeah, they're on to AI, fucking crypto, trying to just find the next big thing. And AI is much more and vastly more interesting, I'd say, than esports right now.
When you first get the idea to start your own apparel, I know it started with like merch for just like Nadeshot merch, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And then we make a brand, we make 100 Thieves. During that time period, did you know like, hey, we're getting insane sales on my stuff. If we make a brand out of this that people can feel a part of, we know it's going to start to grow. And was that a big portion of the company money at that time to pay these different people that you're bringing on?
It was an apparel company before, like you said, before we actually brought on an investment for the esports portion of 100 Thieves. I was just doing it with like a 3PL, and we were selling hoodies and windbreakers just because I wanted to create a brand that didn't feel like creator merchandise, which that would be hard. I mean, it wouldn't be hard. It'd be easier to do now just because there's so many creators that have very specific looks. But back then there was probably like 100 individuals that were selling merch for just their brand, whether it was in gaming or in beauty and fashion or just vlogging. And it all just felt so like, I wouldn't wear this to fucking school. You know what I mean? So it was just that idea, like, let's create something that doesn't look like gaming, that doesn't feel like gaming. And if you saw somebody walking down the street, you wouldn't think this is a gaming organization. But if you did see somebody, it's like, oh shit, if you know, you know. So that was the entire idea behind it. And yeah, it was a big part of our revenue for the first couple of years. I mean, we were doing in like an hour, like over $1.5 million, like on like 5-6 different drops of the year.
Damn.
So the money was really, really good.
Wow. That's fun. Huh?
Did you ever see like
it was fucking
yeah,
awesome.
that's
Yeah.
insane. Did you ever see or notice like a dip one quarter, and then what may have been the reason for that though? Like, I feel like a lot of creators, you know, I was talking to someone the other day that has like a 6-figure a month like clothing company, but they're trying to get to like 7. Or what did you feel like was one of the reasons why it might have dipped off, and what did you guys do to kind of bring it back up?
I think just say oversaturated. You know, now that the internet expanded in every direction, there's so many different ways to spend your money with so many different brands. And when 100 Thieves was fresh and new in the esports space, there was just a lot of hype behind it. Everybody, since we were like the first team to have apparel that people actually wanted to wear, everybody just wanted to be a part of it because we were seeding it to the right people. They were posting about it because they were actually genuinely excited about it. But after a while, you know, like 3, 4, 5 years, and you've made like your 1,000th hoodie, there's only so many different ways to, you know, deliver a unique experience to the customer base. So I think the biggest issue is expanding beyond the current customers that we have, which isn't impossible, but it's actually pretty difficult to, you know, get a new kid who really doesn't follow professional gaming, or maybe even the creators that we had a part of 100 Thieves, and like get them interested, even if the clothes looked good, but you were in this situation where you didn't know what it was. So if I'm like an 18-year-old kid thinking, I see this on an Instagram ad, I'm like, I love the way it looks, but like, what the fuck is it? And then I click into it and I see it's a gaming team. You're probably not like, this ain't the hype shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of natural fatigue. But that's why, you know, we really started focusing on like the functionality of the apparel, like the quality of the apparel, which we did from the jump, but really intricate cut and sews that would really separate itself. So I think just trying to innovate and not being too married to what worked in the past, and don't be afraid to take a risk in the future. Like, people don't know what they want until they give them. And that sounds cliche, but if you keep just fucking repeating everything that was successful for you, like, you're going to run yourself into a wall.
Yeah, dude.
You're going to be sick of making it. Nobody's going to be buying it. you got to kind of reinvent yourself every now and again.
Was that part of the reason for this creator class? Like we're buddies with Lo. We had Lo on the pod.
Fuck yeah, I love Lo.
Last year.
Good
So
guy.
you guys have these people that are like Lo. Lo's not a professional gamer, but he's an insane streamer.
Yeah.
He makes insane content. And you have a group I saw on your website. You have this creator class. Was that part of the idea for expansion and kind of getting into different niches outside of gaming?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think nowadays it's a little tougher to extract value from people's audiences and bring it back to 100 Thieves. You know, there's really, you can't take shortcuts with building genuine fandom in any demographic, in any industry. Like, it has to happen naturally. And so I think bringing on a group of newer creators that were a little smaller in size and hungry for what's to come and the opportunity to come, I think that was like a nice defibrillator for just the creator class in 100 Thieves. Because when you have folks, like if you look at FaZe right now, they're doing really, really well. The videos, the click farming, the clips, they're everywhere on the internet. Those are 5 guys that actually, and I don't know what they were doing before FaZe Clan, but now they all live in a house together. I'm so fucking done with these creator houses. I'm not saying that's what we should do, but they all genuinely like collaborate almost every single day on their streams and on their videos. Whereas 100 Thieves, like we have, it's kind of like the Avengers, where you have a superhero in this one place and you might see them together with the other Avengers like on YouTube, but they're not doing and spending time from day to day. So it's harder to kind of sell that. So I think in the future, like we're probably not going to be adding that many more creators until there's like real intention behind it, and if it's necessary. Like I kind of want to get back to 100 Thieves feeling a little bit more not reserved or closed off, but we need to continue to like build our legacy rather than like just trying to bring on new people hoping that it just looks and feels different. We need to look within.
Kind of like build up and not like out as much.
Yeah. That's a great fucking bang. Holy shit.
Come on.
Come on,
Ron.
Dude, you ever stop like not know what to say on a stream? I always think that I just had to sneak this in. Like, cause when you stream, you talk the whole time, it seems like. Do you ever just like, I got
Dude,
nothing?
yeah. You're doing 13-hour fucking streams.
Like, how do you know what to
I just
say?
did 9 hours.
No, you
way.
didn't today.
Yeah, 9 hours.
Today.
Yeah.
And you just
5 a.m.
You
Bro's
just
got
keep
stamina.
talking.
You got
5 a.m.,
5 a.m.
brother.
And then you're talking on a podcast for an hour and a half?
That's why you got to find bits. Like I'm lucky enough to where I don't really have to worry about what somebody thinks of me on the internet. And I used to be like really, really well put together, brand safe, brand friendly. Bro, I just default to like making dick jokes. Like the running bit is that I have ED.
Sure.
Bo Buck, the flaccid cock. I mean the cowboy. I'm sorry. I just say the most heinous shit. That's really all it is, man.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're not a dickhead and you got some self-awareness, you can sit there and talk about whatever you want.
Right.
Do they give you stuff in the stream, or do you even pay attention to that and you're just playing the game and just
Oh,
talking?
I'm talking to the chat all day.
All day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I ignore them if they piss me off, like talking like backseat gaming, telling me like, yo, you should have swung that round. I mean, go fuck yourself. Like, you get them to send you their tracker. Let's see your rank before you tell me how to play. That's what I'll do too, is like you just start picking on kids. Like, say some dumb shit. Not like without it has to be solicited, you know. I'm not gonna just fucking randomly talk shit
select
to this
a
kid.
guy.
But
Right.
these kids say some stupid fucking things.
I'm sure.
And it's just like, I'm like, oh, let's fucking go. Let's ride. So that fills time.
You give them tips. You have like a go-to Call of Duty tip to make someone better?
Yeah. Look
Yeah.
at your mini map. Everything in
Oh.
Call of Duty, like 80% of the things that you should be looking at are on your mini map.
Bang.
That's how you learn spawns.
Chase is trying to really get better.
Dude,
after
I played Warzone in like quarantine. That's about it. But
fuck.
God,
Chase and
I was so involved, dude.
Weird
so
time to get into it.
Yeah,
So
wild
so
time to
weird.
get into it.
It's fast.
I was terrible, and then my brother and I would just like camp together, and we'd say 1, 2. We'd sitting next to each other in a basement.
With claymores and shit?
Yeah, and we just we
brother,
go
you're
no.
the devil.
We had
You're
real
the
guns. We had
devil.
real guns.
No,
we had
I
real
get
guns.
that, but you probably had
wouldn't
a
use
fucking
claymores. No, we
C4
wouldn't.
too.
We'd sit there and we go 1, 2, 3, and then we both started shooting the guy at the same because we were bad, but we just wanted to win. That's all we cared about. So we were just rats, like absolute rats. We got some dubs.
Good for you, man. No, I get it. Like, if I didn't really play that much,
Yeah.
that'd be a fun way to play.
I just
like
wanted to
fuck with
win.
kids, but brother, we'd be teabagging you.
I'm sure.
cussing you out.
We'd get that, dude. When we'd die, people would scream. But
Yeah, it's Call of Duty's crazy now.
Yeah.
You guys see any of these leaked Black Ops 6 clips?
No.
Dude, they uploaded the game to like the PlayStation database and kids cracked it and they started going into custom matches and recording against bots. dude, this game is fast. They have something called omnidirectional movement. So basically, you can move 360 now with the analog stick, which sounds like that's what they've probably been doing this whole time. But it's like you don't have any momentum-based like fatigue anymore. So you can jump backwards, diving, and then into another slide while aiming and shooting. Bro.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's either going to make or break the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Fortnite building.
It's
like,
getting too Fortnite-like.
Building is what made Fortnite successful, but then people got too good at it, which made it more stressful to play. So everybody just stopped.
Yeah, everyone's just going up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, fuck that.
You're just
I'm
looking
a
at this.
no-build. I'm
You're
a
just looking at
no-build
this
guy.
one guy. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go against this guy.
No, dude.
Yeah.
This is my guy.
Fuck
I'm
you,
not-
one
yeah,
guy.
I'm
and
leaving.
it's-
Yeah, and then you're
Yeah.
leaving. I'm like, I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
out. This kid's like 7.
I could see it being like that. That sounds hard, dude.
Yeah, we'll see.
But you still, if you're in a bush though, you still could probably get those
So
guys.
are you gonna hop on and start streaming that as soon as it comes out, or do you?
Yes.
Okay,
Nice.
that's
Oh, yeah.
okay. Immediately.
It's kind of like the Super Bowl. Like,
Okay,
it's the
okay.
newest game.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Viewership's going to be the highest. Q4, you got Q4 ad rates. Oh, brother. There's a woman who's one of the most successful like creators all time. I'd say legacy, like almost Mount Rushmore. Name's Justine.
Okay.
And she got popular through all the work that she does with hosting and digital creating, yada yada yada. She's great at what she does. But every September, when new Apple products release, that's really where she made her name for herself. So I always made a joke at the time because we were hanging out a lot. I was dating her sister at the time. I would get to see her in the lab around like, you know, when the keynotes would start and the new iPhone would come out. I mean, she would just she needed literally 2 months of relevancy for an entire year because these videos would do so well. So that's what kind of Call of Duty is like. It's like, even if I was living under a fucking bridge panhandling, I would find a way. I'd be
Stream
in
that
a
new
McDonald's plugging in the fucking PC, like just to get one last lick of that new Call of Duty sweet, sweet juice. It's fucking awesome.
Have you always woken up at 5 a.m. to play?
No, just started in the last like 3 years.
Wow.
It's
Is
awesome.
Because a daughter or
My wife, you know, she is like better than, you know, I'm gonna sound like Chance the Rapper, gassing up my wife, but she goes to Monarch, or was going to Monarch.
Great
and,
gym.
Dude, she was carrying around a fucking baby like
That's
for 9
sick,
months,
dude.
and she's in the gym like 6 days a week.
that's so sick.
Dude,
Meanwhile,
Monarch
I filmed
moms.
a video with Alana while she was pregnant. I'm like, Alana's fucking bench pressing and squatting while she's about to pop.
Alana didn't even look
sick.
like she was fucking pregnant. I couldn't believe. I'm like, that can't be healthy. They got the baby out with one push.
No way. It's because
Yeah.
all that squat.
All the
she was
squats.
doing.
All the squats.
My wife had to have a C-section, but my point is, she just started like getting up early to go to the gym, and then I wanted to. When I was testing the waters coming back to streaming, I wanted to start early in the day because I still care about how I perform. Like I play competitive games, and if I went to the office for 6-7 hours and was in meetings all day and shit, and then would come home and try to stream, I was a cranky fucking piece of shit,
Right.
and I was just getting slammed by these 16-year-old kids. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this. So in the morning, that's when I'm the sharpest. So I was going to the gym like 5 days a week before our wedding for like 3 months. But then Valorant, I'm not kidding. When we got back for our mini moon, I wanted to turn into like LeBron James of Valorant. I mean, I'm not even fucking close, but I was like doing like aiming routines for like 5 to 7 a.m.
Okay, so this is what I was gonna ask.
So that's like training?
How do you practice to get better at the video game? Are you strategically doing certain moves? I'm not a big gamer, so I'm not 100% sure. Are you practicing certain moves and playing with certain players on your team? Like, how do you get better besides just playing more?
See, there's no way to get better.
Okay.
You just gotta play.
Okay.
I mean, if you're really into this shit, you can go and watch like guides. Like Valorant is actually a very strategic game. You know, there are 5 players in each team. Every character has its own ability and like 3 passive abilities. And so it's very teamwork, heavily, working together. But there's also like so much to know about the map. And then you look up at the leaderboard what agents they're playing, and it's a lot of like strategy around what you're going to do before the round, what weapons you're going to buy, and you can get really deep. There's many layers behind how you play and how you get the other team to dump all their util, and then you go hit the other side, ran a fake, yada yada yada. But there's actually, funny enough, for people that play keyboard mouse that play Valorant, there is like an aim community, and they don't actually like play the games. They just want to have like the highest scores with these aiming simulators, and it's actually insane. They think they're like samurais. It's fucking nuts. And I'm not entirely convinced it actually works. I still do it in hopes that my muscle memory gets better, but I'm telling you, I actually don't think aim training is a real thing.
So do you think that guy in the Olympics that was just no gear?
That motherfucker's disgusting. Yeah,
I love that guy.
And then his cat
That's
is
the
like,
coolest fucking
love
dude.
this
He
dude.
said he's a natural shooter.
Yeah, he just
natural,
walks
dude.
up, no stuff.
Yeah.
Gets
Hand in the pocket,
Gets the
dude.
bronze.
That's
So
a pretty
sick.
controversial take too, so you guys should TikTok that. Not to
it.
tell you what to do, but that one is. I think aim training could be bullshit,
Okay.
but I'm still gonna do it.
Have you played against that 8-year-old kid in the wheelchair again?
No. I think his dad came into my chat one day. I forget, a couple of years ago. I've told the story probably like 10 times. So
It's sick. That kid's probably like, yeah, I beat Nadeshot when I was 8 years old. Like
beat
he's
my
got
teammates.
that.
He
Yeah,
beat my
yeah, sure, right,
Yeah,
right,
it wasn't
right.
him.
well, me could be my fault.
You have like a tournament like little routine that you'd get your mind right for
Fucking
those.
sugar-free Red Bull.
Yeah.
Try not to fucking piss myself on stage.
Was it crazy being on stage? Like wake it harder or?
No, it was crazy for
Yeah.
sure. But you're in like, you have soundproof headphones on, so if you can lock in with your teammates, it wasn't that bad. Nah, man, just make sure to get as much piss out of my bladder as
Yeah,
possible
sure.
because when I'm nervous, I pee a lot. I'm a nervous peer.
I do the same thing,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I have pee anxiety for sure.
Yeah, God, right before the big moments, dude. I take
Yeah.
like four pisses before like the pods every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single time.
I feel like I'm fucking 80
Right.
years old, bro. Incontinence and shit.
It's the caffeine too, dude. See, I do
and
I do
the
2 of the
nicotine.
yerba mates every day,
Right.
and that's a problem.
The yerba mates,
Yeah,
those
too.
things made me kind of tweak. I have really strange dreams when I drink those yerba mates from Whole Foods.
Really?
I stopped drinking them. Yeah, shit you not.
I ripped 2 a day. I ripped 2 right before this.
Like what was the best flavor? It was like
I like orange personally, but I like the zero. Now I'm doing the zero sugar thing.
You know the caffeine might be causing the ED too.
yeah. I'm not gonna quit though. Limp dick ain't that bad. There's worse things that
Better
could
than
happen.
being tired.
Dude, you
right?
couldn't
Yeah.
make me quit caffeine.
No
Nah,
chance.
fuck that.
No chance.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I think I could do it.
I go to bed thinking about
Why?
the cup of coffee I'm going to drink
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
morning.
Why would you want? Why would you want?
I don't
stop?
want to. I don't want to. But if
You
I
made it
had
seem
to,
like you
if
wanted
I
to
had
stop.
I think I could.
Some people on the internet talk about caffeine like it's the fucking devil. You're not wrong, Daddy. You're the devil. What's that from? Oh, that's Waterboy.
Yeah, water boy.
Foosball's the devil. Dude, there's no point in quitting caffeine.
How supportive were your parents of you when you decided that you wanted to be a pro video game player?
My mom hated it. My dad was impartial. He was kind of like, he's kind of like me. He was, okay, just
Right.
don't fucking bother me.
Right.
No, he'd always come into my room after he was a carpentry work, fucking 6 to 2 every single day, busted his ass, cold Chicago winters. And he'd come into my room every single. I used to dread. I hear him walking up the stairs just to stand in the door frame, talk about. We had nothing to talk about, but he was trying to be involved. I love my dad; he's the best. But my mom really did not like it, just because I spent so much time in my bedroom, where it's like, I'm getting good grades. You made me get a job. Like she forced me out of the house at 15 to go work, and I just ended up working at McDonald's. But I stayed there for 4 years. I'm like, hey, lady, I got a job. I'm getting good grades. What else you want me to do?
Right.
Like, what else can I do? But I think it was because she just was afraid of me getting reclusive and not having like a normal social life. But I don't know. She hated it. She fucking hated it.
Did you turn once you started making money?
Unfortunately, she decided to die.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
That bitch. No, just kidding. It's insane. No, I say a lot of mom jokes on the street. It's good. I think she would have thought it was funny.
Yeah, she probably would have thought it was hilarious that you're so successful at it.
And at the same time, like to give her the benefit of the doubt. At that time, there wasn't any proof of concept. Nobody was making
Sure.
money. Nowadays, if you
Right.
told somebody in high school, I'm going to be a professional gamer, they'd probably be like, all right, hopefully you don't suck.
Right.
Because we want that ninja money.
Right.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Mom.
Yeah,
I didn't mean that.
that. Makes sense.
You always can tell how people. I'm like, what reaction is it? They're gonna be like, oh shit, or are they gonna laugh? It's good. Make everybody real uncomfortable. I do that probably like once a month on stream. Some random kids in Discord, like some of them are pretty soft spoken. They don't know what to say. It just goes completely silent. Like, hey, bro, it's cool. She's been gone for a while. She ain't gonna hear it.
But playing video games, you are in the house quite a bit and streaming.
Yeah.
But you do have hobbies like you like to golf, and we know that you like to take photos and stuff.
Yeah, you're shooting photos.
You guys
right?
dox me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
every
looked up
time.
You guys-
everything.
Yeah.
Somebody's really good at stalking in here. I like it.
It's not me. Actually.
ChatGPT, maybe.
No, they can't. They
who do you
can't go.
think
They
is-
can't go
Yeah.
search your Instagram or anything, which is ridiculous. Because
ChatGPT can't.
no, I should be able to paste the link from someone's Instagram, but it can't scour the internet yet. None of them can.
It's probably a good thing.
They're kind of scouring. It's weird.
Yeah, it
you know
is
what I
weird.
mean. You can't just like paste someone's YouTube and be like, tell us about them.
Well, they just found out. I can't remember if it was ChatGPT or it was NVIDIA. Their AI, their internal
saw
emails
this.
leaked. They were going scraping like popular YouTubers like MKBHD,
Yeah.
downloading their entire video history and then putting
Using
it
it to
in there.
learn.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Oh,
It should
that's so
definitely
smart.
that should be illegal.
Yeah, that should
Yeah.
be illegal.
But I don't fucking know though. Like, what are?
But I guess then it's like public information. It's weird. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah,
You know?
we're fucked. Like, there's no way to get a grasp back on this. Sorry, go ahead.
My question is like, how important has it been for you to have those hobbies outside of playing video games? Because I feel like being inside all day playing video games, I feel it myself when I'm inside all day editing videos. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like getting outside is so fucking important. So like how nice has it been for you to like have hobbies outside of streaming and playing video games?
I have like crippling ADHD, and it's not some like TikTok fucking brain rot self-diagnosis. I just get hyper fixated on one thing for like 3 months, and then I don't care about it for the rest of the year. And then I'll come back the same year, maybe a little different time of the year, and do that same thing.
My mom would get so mad at me for that, dude.
Yeah, the
she
same
she
shit.
made a thing in my house. You know how they have those words? It's a bunch of words, and they're like
Yep,
some of her.
yep.
She had all the things that I would get obsessed with for like 2 weeks, and then I wouldn't do
fun.
it
Yeah.
anymore. She wanted to kill me when I was a kid. And they didn't know that I had ADHD, so she
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, he does something really really well for like 2 months, and then they stop. Like, why is that? I'm like, we should just use Google back in the day.
100%.
Were you like that too, where you'd find something, go crazy?
No, that's how I am now. So it
Okay.
goes from Valorant to golf to cameras to fucking maybe just back to Valorant. And so like I was getting really good at golf and going to the gym, and it was in like the best shape that I had been, which wasn't like crazy, but I didn't look the way that I look now. I had some sort of like shape to my leg again. And then I started doing the aim training in Valorant in the morning. So like that went completely out the window. I play probably like 1 to 2 rounds a month right now.
Okay.
But I feel like the golf bug is about to come back in a really bitchin' way. I'm kind of worried about it because then it kind of fucks with my streaming.
Right.
So it's like a blessing and a curse. Like it's helped me get really good at some things in my life because I just obsess over it, but it also makes me hate that thing like for a better part of the year.
Is that how it is with photography?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you shooting on right now? What's the vlog setup? People are curious. What's the
I
vlog
shoot on
setup?
FX3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sick.
but I don't really vlog that. I haven't been vlogging that much yet. I really like finally being able to shoot manual without a lot of headaches because
You're
that
locked
Cine L
in.
or whatever the fuck it's called. I shoot on a Leica Q3 right now.
Sick.
I'll bring out a Contax T2 sometimes for film. Really like the quintessential fucking cameras that everybody uses. I bought a Hasselblad and was trying to learn how to shoot medium format. That was like one of the craziest fixations I had for a minute. Like I was scouring the web for like certain brands of film, going to Sammy's Camera like every week to see if they had some in stock.
Worst customer service of all time.
Yeah, is that bad?
The rental shop's good though. Harold Sweat,
Yeah.
that's a good guy. Okay,
Nice.
shout out Harold.
I like the
I
fucking.
love that guy.
I like the guys that where you go to buy a new camera, like because as soon as they find out that you're gonna pay for it, they're like they start leaning in a little bit more.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just gonna tape a $100 bill to my forehead.
Right,
Dude. Get better
right.
service.
that ass.
You're like,
But
hey, I'm ready to buy, dude.
Right.
I'm locked in.
I agree with you though. They're all kind of like they just a little off-putting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's usually what I'm shooting on mostly.
Have you tried Fujifilm X100 5 or 6?
The one that does film simulations. They've been out of
Yes.
stock forever.
So I have a Q2.
Yeah.
Love it. Haven't picked it up since I got a Fujifilm X100 6.
See, what? How many pixels? How many megapixels?
It's like 42.
Oh my
They upgraded
god,
it.
dude!
The 5 used to be like 21, and I think they doubled it. Has built-in ND, like IBIS for
Does it-
filming.
is it
It's
have-
fucking money.
Bro, I bought one for my buddy as a gift for him because I'm like, dude, I don't need this. Like I shoot on my Q2, but I've always been curious.
I have mine here. You can take a look at it after. I'm a snob when it comes to like
He's a brand
camera.
whore is what
Yeah,
he's trying to
I'm
say.
a brand whore.
Big
Yeah.
time.
And so
Me too. I'm right there with
before I got the Q2, I was like, do I get the Fujifilm or do I go Leica? And I was like, I want a fucking Leica.
you. Yeah.
And then It's great, and when it hits, it fucking
Looks cooler strapped to you,
There's
the
no
Leica.
better.
Definitely.
There's no better camera.
People are gonna talk to you about it.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
saying anything about that food.
But-
You can bring it around like it's a purse almost, like Caleb Williams.
it's like a Birkin, dude. It's
Yeah,
like
oh yeah,
Yeah.
the Caleb's with Birkin.
Oh
Come on
my
now.
God.
Is he
Or
rocking
Knox.
Birkins?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, he had
oh,
a
yeah,
Birkin
yeah.
in the coaches
And
meeting. Twitter,
that's funny.
Twitter
Yeah.
has picked it up like crazy.
Bunch of Republicans saw it, which hey, I'm on your side. They were just like, he's carrying around a purse, and then everybody was just fucking talking shit to these guys. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a fucking purse,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to try it out. Long story short is I got to try it out.
All
Well,
I'll
I
say,
should not buy another camera though.
all I'll say is
hard
that
not to.
I prefer the Fujifilm over the Leica. It's the most fun I've ever had using a camera. And if it's something where it's like you pick it up every now and then, like I think it's worth looking in.
I just have a photo from Monterey that I took when my wife and I were touring wedding venues that was so like overexposed, and just the composition of the photo was fucking terrible. But since the megapixels were so high, I think it's like 60.
Yeah.
I was able to crop in, and it's probably one of my favorite photos I've ever taken. So,
Sick.
Look, I'm not, hanging wall art. I mean, my wife has for me, but I don't blow anything up where I actually think you need that level of detail. But I feel comfortable knowing I have it. But 42
Totally.
is
Yeah.
great. 42 is fucking insane.
Yeah.
You're going to put it, you're going to fuck me up with this shit.
Yeah, dude.
I'm watching Instagram reels last night of like fucking how to give it this cinematic look. And I'm like, dude, I can't watch this. It's like heroin to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up on Skid Row, bro, but it's going to be Sammy's
You have a
cameras.
ton
Like
of
a bird.
cameras. He's got like
Yeah.
10 on the ground. He's like, pick
Selling
your
'em.
poison. You can rent them.
It's not good.
That's so funny. When you originally started vlogging, did you have someone teach you how to do it, or were you just interested in? You're like, I'm just gonna get a camera. This is gonna be something that we start on YouTube. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was wildly successful. Like I went back deep on your YouTube once you started vlogging.
Yeah.
I mean, you had these vlogs are hitting 500,000 views, and during that time period, during,
I fucked up. I should have kept going.
no, but during that time period, I feel like the only other guy or girl that I knew of that was really killing vlogging was like Casey
Yeah,
Neistat,
yeah.
right? And so I see you having these insane views on these videos. Like, did you see that and you're like, holy shit, we keep doing this? Or were you just in love with the process and you're just like, oh, we'll do a vlog here, we'll do a stream?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was trial and error, and like the camera shit is actually what made me love. I really did not enjoy like being out in public, turning my camera on. I was really obsessed with trying to tell a real story, and not because I felt like I was like fucking Alfred Hitchcock, like a great director, but when I would get done with shooting and editing, I would just feel so satisfied and proud of what I made, because I had to really teach myself about everything, lighting, composition, and I'm still not that great at it, but ignorance is bliss. Like if I can see something that somebody else has shot, I'm like, oh, that was a really good fucking idea. This looks great. And I can go and try to get as close as I can to it. And most times, like when I'm shooting, even if I'm not a professional when it comes to like I tried to learn DaVinci while I was fucking on paternity leave with my daughter, my wife. And I'm like surface level everywhere. Like I can do a little bit of everything, but I can do nothing really that well. But it was just obsessing over the quality. Like back then, I had a GoPro, and then all of a sudden this G7X came out, which ended up being the camera that everybody was vlogging with. And then when I saw Casey shooting with a fucking Canon and like 1080p, I'm like, dude, this looks so fucking good. So I bought a Sony A7S. Then I got the Mark II, and funny enough, the Mark II that made all those YouTube videos when I started really shooting like 4K and trying to make it and everything feel a little bit more fun to watch, that camera I still use as my vlogging camera to this day.
Wow.
And it shot like, I want to be buried with it.
The camera was ahead of its time.
No,
dude.
way ahead.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
A7S too.
A7S.
Yeah.
You could see in the dark.
Yeah, it
I
was way ahead
remember
of
a
its
kid
time.
at our school at Oregon had it, and we all had like the regular Canon T5i or whatever.
Yeah.
He came in and we're like, yo, this is it. This is running out with the team with the Ronin. I'm like, whatever he's doing, we need to copy it. we need to copy this. Like,
let's do that.
He has the sauce, and he was like, dude, this is in 4K. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. Like, what does that even mean? He's like, dude, it's more. It's more.
I feel like it like started. It would like hold its own with like all these cameras
For
now.
sure.
Like it
100%.
started like that level of like prosumer vibe. That camera fucking rocked.
I mean, I feel like you couldn't differentiate it like that.
No.
When you got that camera, was it like, did everything kind of feel like it was an opening at that time for you?
Yeah, I mean, dude, just the fact that it looked better than what most people were uploading, not from like the quality of the video and like what they're saying and doing, it looked better. So if you were investing at that time and actually kind of like had an interest in cameras, you could really look and make yourself look different. than everybody else, which some people care for. It's funny. It's like things were starting to elevate, and like the requirements of making a really good vlog used to be more dependent now on like the way that it was shot and what it was shot on. But nowadays, I think it kind of came back in droves. It's just like, shoot it with your phone. Who fucking cares? The quality isn't that great. But if you still like that shit, like the Instagram algorithm is so good for like filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes I would see like a quick 30-second tutorial. I'm like, holy fuck, I got to go try that myself. But they look so good. There's so many people that are just so good at shooting nowadays. It's really hard to look and feel different from anybody on the internet.
Yeah.
Nothing's that unique anymore.
Yeah.
It's fucking dangerous.
At the time when you were vlogging every day?
Kind of, for the most part. I would go like a year where I'm vlogging every day.
You would cut that shit too, or no? You'd have some.
Yeah.
No,
Damn.
you wouldn't. You would cut it yourself.
I didn't trust anybody else to do it.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you still like that with the things that you're putting out, or do you allow an editor to maybe help you out with it?
I let my editors do the gaming clips that we have right now, but I nitpick him. It's not because I don't think he's good at what he does. It's just like, if I watch a clip back, I'm like, I know exactly how I would edit this. And it's like, we'll be uploading a 30-second TikTok. This guy just started working with me 8 months ago, and he takes it on the chin. But I'm like, bro, you got to cut these 2 seconds right here, like really like anal about it. Not because I think it's what's best, but it's just what I want to watch. And that's kind of how I started editing. I'm like, you kind of have some people have taste, some people don't. Some people can see like the changes in that you made, and some people can't, but it'll drive me nuts if it's not exactly how I would have done it. So the vlog clips are not easy for me to let go of. I only had one editor that I let edit my vlogs. His name was Logan Dotson. He was the 3rd or 4th employee at 100 Thieves. He was much better than me. So there was a lot of things that I would learn from him.
And at the time when you're uploading almost every day and you're getting hundreds of thousands of views, what is that feeling like?
And honestly, it's like when the shitty part about the upload every day is that you would make a video, I'd be up till like 3 a.m. editing it. I would fucking love it with everything in my being. I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I made this. And then the next morning you'd wake up like, okay, I got some dopamine out of it. Like I got like 100 comments and some likes. I can never watch this fucking thing again. Like I gotta go shoot another one. It drove me nuts. You just couldn't enjoy it.
Yeah. You got to on to the next. That sucks, honestly.
Wait, okay. Did you feel like you were making these videos at all? Like I feel like as creatives, the people that are listening to this, they struggle a lot with making something for the audience or making it because you loved it. And it sounds like you were making these and like you loved them.
Yeah, everybody says that nowadays that that's what you should do.
Right? Like, yeah, you hear that. They're like, oh, make it for the audience. Like, no, fuck that. Make it for you. I feel like it's a thing that everyone's talking about right now.
And you just hope, whether you care or not, or you want to be bigger or not, like you just hope that people that watch it feel the same way as you did when you made it. So I think that's the hardest part. It's like some people probably doing the things that they love and making it because they love it, but sometimes people just don't like the style that you might have. So I think it's good advice, but it also can be dangerous.
Yeah, I'm going to zag. I'm going to start making stuff for the audience, dude.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Fuck me, dude. I don't need it.
No, you
Gotta zag when there's
I love it. I love it, Chase.
You gotta
I
sell
love
your
it.
soul a little bit.
Dude.
Fuck yeah, brother.
Oh, yeah, dude. It'd be huge.
Fuck the machine.
How did you get connected with Drake?
That was through, who was that through? That was through Scooter Braun.
And was that Series B?
Yeah.
Sick.
I believe so.
And as a company, how do you know when it's time to raise more money? Like after you've raised a Series A, how do you know when it's time to go Series B?
Well, at that time, the money that we were raising, pretty much historically for the entirety of 100 Thieves, we were raising money because we wanted to reinvest back in the business. Like we were proving our model, and we just needed more money to scale faster, which I think was dangerous for us. At that time, the markets were great. Everybody's writing a check. They didn't really care about how much money you were losing or burning every single month. They want to know how much were you making in profit. And so everything started just going up and up and up. So you know that you're ready to raise if your burn and is just too extensive and you're going to run out of money, you got to raise. Normally that's a down round. But if you have like a genuine conviction around what will take this company to the next level, but it just needs like a capital injection to get it there, that's normally when you start raising again and drumming up interest. It's a grueling process of like 6 to 12 months, sometimes 18 from like start to finish. And you got to be really smart about the decisions you make and the different levers that are in that seed or in that round of funding, because it affects everything, like all the employees, their ownership and equity in the company, the board members, the past investors or the early investors. So it's certainly not something that I could have ever done on my own. And thank God my partner at the time, John Robinson, had come from ventures, so he was very acclimated to the environment. But it's not easy to do.
And in that first year, did you meet expectations? Did you surpass expectations of what you had for 100 Thieves?
For what I had from like a financial perspective, or
how did you gauge success? Was it from a financial perspective, or were you just like the culture, like we have a pulse on it?
Listen, these big merchandise drops were fucking crazy. Like I never in my wildest dreams thought we would do like a 1.75 in an apparel drop. I think we did 2 at one point for one of them. The No Camping collection back from like 20.
That's funny, dude.
18.
I should get one of those.
I still have all the product from it just sitting in my closet. I loved it so much. But that became kind of like vlogging. No bullshit. It's where you had the successful apparel drop. You did them like 4, 5, 6 times a year, and it was like, holy shit, I can't believe we're doing this. But then if you invest in your apparel and you try to grow the team, you're trying to do more collaborations, you're trying to do more drops, all of a sudden you're like going through the P&L for the next year and all the forecasts, you're like, we can double revenue in our apparel, no problem. So then you do more drops, and it doesn't turn into like, this was a massive success, I can't believe we sold this much product. It was like, you need to sell this much product for this to even be happy about this drop. And so if we didn't sell out, that was like, holy fuck, this sucks. But in reality, we just sold like 1.2 million, but we're not happy because we didn't get to like the 1.5, and now we got that product sitting in the warehouses. It just becomes like this terrible expectation when you try to grow too fast of like what means success in the future. But the way that I measured success in the early days, 100 Thieves, just like what did people think of the brand, like in the very nuanced communities that like I had respect for, like the people that were like the sharpest mind. I don't know, that sounds way too fucking cliche. I just like my peers, what the fuck did they actually think about 100 Thieves? Like, what is this other guy who's my boy, makes a creator, he's a creator as well, did he actually repost this shit from this apparel drop? Did he really love it? Because after a while, it's like all of a sudden you're sending too much apparel, and it's like you got to ask him to post about it. I'm like, fuck, dude, we lost the flame and like the lightning in the bottle. So that was always the one metrics of success I had. Because if people fucked with it, we were gonna figure out how to make money. But you can't make money if people don't love it.
Has there been a moment, I know you guys have had insane success with merch, with content, with everything that you guys have built. Was there ever a moment where you felt like it was slipping away a little bit from you? And if so, what did you kind of do or meet with the team to kind of get it back on track to where you thought it should be going?
The problem that I have is kind of like the ADHD tendencies. Like with a business, it's very dangerous to love something and that's all you want to do for like 3 months. And then 6 months later, the team is executing on now what you were making the decisions on, and it just doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel, it's like having somebody else edit your video. You're like, I know people are saying they like this, but I fucking hate it. And you can't, you can only give so much feedback on how things are done creatively or from a marketing perspective. And again, like when you raise more money, the expectations are higher and the more money you need to make. So then you don't have time to do any of the things that you really enjoyed doing. And now the people that are doing them are doing a good enough job for them, but you just fucking hate everything you see. You're like, I would have never put this in this on this graphic for this fucking event. I know that sounds insane, but it's just like the little shit that I didn't have time to like impose my will, because I don't also want to be like that.
Right.
That guy's like my way or the highway. And people would be so proud of the work, but I'm like, oh, I fucking hate it. I hate it. So then 100 Thieves kind of turned into this battle now with myself, like I would have when I wasn't interested in taking photos anymore. I don't enjoy doing this right now, and I need to find another creative outlet, which is what streaming has been for me lately. But I don't even know what the original question was. It just kind of kicked up a lot of, the last 6 months of last year were really hard for me because I thought that I was going to leave the company because the pressure of running the business was just too much. But yeah, building a business is really, really hard, and you need good people around you to be able to do it. It's fucking stressful.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I can only imagine, especially when you're having these $1 million injections into the company and you have all these guys and girls who you're trying to like please, and you're like, fuck, we have to make this much money next year, or they're going to be pissed off, or they don't like the direction that you're going. Did they ever give you like these are tough conversations, but like, have they ever given you like feedback on something and you're like, absolutely not, that is not the direction that we're going? And like, how do you manage that? Because I mean, we're trying to build something big here.
Yeah.
We're trying to build like something like that we look at and we're like, this is an awesome podcast. This is an amazing business, and you've done it. You know?
I appreciate that. That's the important part, is like, you want to have partners and the people around you where you can talk to each other candidly and know that you're not going to take it personal, and you're trying to like build something better moving forward. And there's never been a situation with 100 Thieves, I'm lucky, where our board members are very good at what they do for what their living is. But as board members, some of them have a background in gaming, like a small piece, but for the most part, they didn't really understand the nuances of what made our company successful. So it was kind of a good thing and a bad thing that the board meetings weren't very difficult from answering tough questions or making tough decisions on things that we need to change for the company moving forward. Because for the first like 4 or 5 years, we were just doubling our revenue year over year. There were no problems. We were investing in new companies like Juvie, acquired the keyboard company High Ground. We were building a game. Like everything was on kind of cruise control while we did the next thing. And they weren't experts in it. So they would really just try to keep us on track. And I can't remember if there's ever been any harsh feedback. It's kind of a tough relationship between the board and me, because they kind of need me to be there. At least that's the way that I view it. So I've never had to like, they've never really calmed down. No. My partner John had to deal with a lot of hard shit, like a lot of tough conversations. But I kind of got out Scott. I'll just be ducking in the ground. I'm like, hey. You guys want to say something? You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. No, but we never had many like contentious moments. But you got to just try to keep a cool head. Like you got to take the ego out of it and know that if you have the right people around, they're really genuinely just trying to. Our fucking business, but Jake, who was business partners with Blake, kind of, he was running Detroit Venture Partners, and this is a good part of the story, I promise. He was negotiating against me when the company first started. He was negotiating for Dan Gilbert's investment and like forming the company for me with Blake. And so he was negotiating against my manager at the time. And so I fucking hated this guy. He would sit there and ask me so many questions. And if I ever had like an idea or I would say something and this is what the company should be doing, he would press me on it. He would like ask me really, really hard questions. And he was a lawyer. Like he has a background in this shit. I'm like, does this motherfucker hate me? Like, what is wrong with, I hate you, Jake, you know? And then he's on the phone, like trying to get my comp to be lower and shit like that. And I just could not stand him. As soon as we're on the same side and got everything signed away, and I started to learn and understand what he was doing, like he genuinely was just trying to play devil's advocate and make sure every base was covered. And he wasn't doing it because in my head, I'm like, he just wants to sound like he's fucking right. He don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. You ever pick an argument with your like girlfriend or something and you're not even that mad at her, but she just said some shit. You're like, I'm going to argue just so I can tell you that you're fucking wrong. Yeah. I think I might be a sociopath. I've already done that a couple times. But that's how I saw it. But at the end of the day, I ended up learning years later that he was genuinely just trying to like make everything better and understand it so that he can help me guide the ship. So you can't be too closed off and stuck in your own way. Self-awareness is very important.
Do you feel like now you've kind of taken, like you're streaming a ton, and the streams are doing really well. A lot of people are tuning into them. Do you feel like that is where you provide the most value, is knowing where content is going? And I mean, you're insane at the game and just kind of guiding this shit from a content perspective. Like where do you feel like you're sitting now?
I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like I think I'm not supposed to be in a fucking boardroom, like doing a 9 to 5. And I wasn't necessarily doing that all 7 years of 100 Thieves, but I hate to be that fucking guy that blames my ADHD again for the third fucking time, but I can't multitask. Like I need to be enthralled in fucking like just completely one track minded in anything that I do. So when I would need to film a podcast after I just got out of like a 3-hour board meeting or like a really tough meeting on marketing about like, you get like decision fatigue. You're sitting in this fucking room all day. You've looked at 12,000 different SKUs of color. You don't know which one you like more. Everybody trying to, you get fatigued in that room, and then I got to go on camera and act like everything's fine or like, oh, we got to do a round of layoffs, but sit your ass in the chair and make a fucking podcast. Like, we're not about to wax the guy behind the camera. Oh, it was terrible, man. And I don't like confrontation, which it's a whole thing. So I just am best at being on camera and just talking my shit and just saying whatever the fucking comes to mind, because somehow we found people to like it. And I kind of view Dave Portnoy is fucking unbelievable what he does. And he's a lot better at things that I think people don't give him credit for. What he has to do by balancing his life with the amount of content he actually makes is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it, to be honest with you. So I'm just trying to be the biggest spotlight for the brand as I possibly can. Because I think with my success comes the company's success. I'm bringing these people along for the ride. And that was the original thesis of the business. So my YouTube channel is a fucking desolate wasteland. That's going to change. You know, I used to upload every day. I probably uploaded like 20 videos in the last 7 years. And I fucking hate those videos.
But
I'm going to get a fresh start.
You're smart, though, making it sustainable for you. Because you're like, I don't want to sit in the boardroom. I want to stream and build a brand that way. And that way, you get to actually stay with the company. Because now it's like a sustastainable path for you.
Yeah.
Smart.
Everybody's happy.
Right.
A little separation of church and state. Like, I need to be a fan of the brand to know what's best for the brand. It's like, I don't even know what people think of this anymore, or how it makes them feel, because to me, everything that we're doing is miserable and I fucking hate it. But that's not what's actually true. It's just because I started to resent it for how it made me feel burnt out.
Definitely.
I'm manic.
Do you take feedback from, like, I think something that's cool about this is it's not at a place where there's millions and millions of people listening to it yet. But I feel like in tune with the people that watch the show. They can hit me up, they can DM me like, yo, I love this guest. He said awesome things. And I take from certain people that I really value their opinion that just listen to the show. I've never met them before. I get to really listen to their feedback and like, yo, this guy said great stuff, or this girl said awesome stuff. I love this. Do you feel like you have that connection still with some people that you don't know, that aren't your friends, that aren't going to just be like, yeah, this is awesome. They're not going to blow smoke up your ass. You know what I mean? They're just completely outside.
I don't take creative feedback well.
Okay.
Like, I'm very careful about people who I ask for their opinion, because somebody will say something to me that they genuinely feel. And as soon as I hear, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, that's not why I showed it to you. I wasn't asking you about that. What do you think about this? So,
From the same
I'm
way,
the same.
I can't do it. If I show you an edit, I'm not looking for you to tell me what frame you think. I'm just looking for
Same.
good stuff,
yeah,
brother.
like, dope me up.
Great, yeah, dab me up. Tell me like the shot. Tell me like the color.
I think a good friend says, do you want me to hype you up, or do you want me to give you feedback? Start
Facts.
right in the beginning.
That's what we do with each other. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for you to tell me
You gotta
what
do that with your significant other
Yeah,
too. I do that with my
Oh,
wife.
dude, if
You gonna talk some shit, or
if Chloe comes
Right.
in and rips it apart, I'm like, I wasn't asking for that.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, we're not eating together tonight.
Also, I'm also of the mind where it's like, if someone tells me like something's wrong with it, I just assume they're dumb.
Yeah, no.
Which is really cocky for
We're
me and
narcissists,
stupid.
bro. It's
But
lit.
like,
But no,
you don't get
we've
it,
done the
dude.
damn thing for so long. It's like, you think I wouldn't have thought of that?
Right.
You
There's
think,
like a few
you think I wouldn't have
people-
thought of
you
that?
dumb bitch.
yeah, there's a few people who I'm like, okay, you're probably right, but like not that many.
No,
Yeah.
dude, Reef does that. Reef will look in and edit and be like, that frame.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Reef-
so,
Reef will tear
I'm
stuff
like,
apart.
That's weird. Was I asking you for the fucking frame
I
that
like that,
you
though.
wanted to change?
Yeah.
That's why we're business partners.
Yeah, I'll take
dude.
his feedback actually. He's on the list.
Yeah, so I don't ask for a lot of advice creatively, but I do ask for advice a lot of times with the hard decisions that we had made for the business. Hector would always try to help me, but he would just make a joke out of it. I'm like, bro, Hector, back in the day, like my first girlfriend ever, he's the founder of Optic Gaming. I'd be talking to him. I didn't have a lot of relationship experience. Go over his house, ask him for advice on how to handle something. He's like, bro, you're just not fucking her right. Like, I would have serious problems, and that's all he would say. And I fucking hate you, brother. He does the same thing with fucking business advice. He just makes some stupid ass joke. Be careful who you ask opinions for, gentlemen. I'm headstrong. I'm like, I don't need to hear it.
Okay, I do want to
So
get your
important.
opinion on something though,
Sure.
because we obviously have the podcast, but we've done a few merch drops. We want to grow an apparel line as well. There's so many different things that we want to do, but we're cautious of almost spreading ourselves too thin at the beginning. As someone who, you have 100 Thieves, and then you've done, Juvie, you have the keyboards, and you have a bunch of different, sectors of 100 Thieves. Do you have advice for us as far as like growing and when to know when to bring something else into like the business? I'm cautious of us not spreading ourselves too thin, because even though we have all these ideas, like, you only have so much time in the day.
Well,
So
can you give me like the elevator pitch on the business that you guys are operating right now? Is it the podcast? You're just trying to grow a brand in general?
No, I think
The media? What is it?
I think the number one thing is the podcast itself and like having an amazing show that creators want to listen to, right? And then I think from that, you have these different sectors where we have digital products that we're selling, that we're going to eventually have an insane library for the creator that finds it day one, but also the person who's done it for 10 years. And we'll have like something that they could actually use to help either their business or whether to make their videos better, whether to make their photos better. And then I think it's this merchandise line in my head where I see it as like, that's a multi-million-dollar business. These it's similar to how you were saying, how you're like, you see these merch. We don't want to make merch. We want to make something that where people are fired up to put it on. And it's like, I'm a part of something bigger than myself. I'm not just buying because it's the 505 pod. We're buying it because like I would wear this to school. I would wear this.
Or it's just like a cool
I'd
shirt.
wear this out. And like, I feel like we did get that feedback with our merch, which was dope, where we put a ton of hard work into it. We had an amazing designer like help us with it that we know. And like, we're just trying to build, I think, one of the biggest creative empires. Like that's how I see it.
Okay. I fucking love the ambition. I would say don't spread yourselves too thin. I would say as long as what you're trying to do is growing the community that started with you from the very beginning, and that sounds cliche, like every fucking TikTok podcast you would hear say that, you just got to be careful of doing things because you want to make money from it. I know that's like the day one advice. But if you guys can afford to like keep the lights on and have this be a full-time job, or if you're not there yet and you're working to get there, you got to make sure that never feels as if you're only doing this because you're trying to like put cash in your pocket. Because even if you finally reach that day, you're gonna fucking resent everything that you're doing that you had to do to get there. That sounds like caveman, like fucking
that's so true,
like
though.
repeat episode advice, but I would take your time and make sure you're doing what you started with as well as you possibly can. And if you are feeling too spread thin, or like the core of what you started is starting to be affected because everybody else is off doing something different, I think taking on too many things at one time is very dangerous if you're already doing what you do very well. And again, that sounds adversarial to what I'm saying, but
No, I think you're right. I mean, we're just trying to build a great show. At the end of the day, if we have a great show, it's going to keep growing.
Yeah,
Right.
and if the show is really a success like you want it to be, these new opportunities in business will grow from it just naturally, so easily. I think reaching like critical mass with the core show is the most important thing, but that's just my perspective.
I think you're right. And like, we're trying to keep that community at the forefront. Like, we have a Discord and we ask them things. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on this? Like, even with colors and shit that we're trying out, we're like, what do you think about this? And they give us feedback and it's great. Do you feel like as you've grown, I mean, you've millions on all these different platforms. How have you tried to like cultivate that community? Because I know at a point it's like
so big.
The Pandora's box is open. There's fucking millions of people here. You can't take feedback from a million different people, but
or even like respond to all your DMs.
Yeah, you can't respond to all your DMs at a point. Like, it just gets to that point. You know, you have this big group of people now that's not just 10 people that are on your stream.
Yeah, bro, that's kind of tough, man. I'm gonna sound kind of like a dick when I say this. I genuinely don't mean it. I've always tried to keep an arm's length away from getting like close with any of my community, just because I feel like in the past it's like seeped into my mind. Like, I would be making decisions because I already know how these people would respond to it. So then it started to make me doubt like how I actually felt about something that I was doing on stream or in this video. Or I had to really, I keep things as separated as possible. So I never feel like I'm doing something without conviction. And that's not one size fits all. Like, there's a few like people in my stream that I talk to a lot, or I'll even DM them for even creative stuff regarding like 100 Thieves. Like, what do you think about this? Because I just feel like they're tapped in. But at the same time, like, I'm more like a radio host, and you don't really call in and talk to me. I just sit here and just fucking yap. And I try not to. I sound like a piece of shit, but I don't like to get too close with anybody.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty honorable in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of humility. Leave me alone.
A moment though that was big for the community as a whole, the gaming community, was you going 1v1 versus FaZe Banks.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
Turn up.
man, what did that moment mean for the community? Like, I feel like that sent like waves through the gaming community. I heard about it and I'm not even a huge gamer.
Yeah, I got fucking ambushed. No, it was great, man. It was cool to, well, I think with the most underrated part of it is that FaZe and Optic were both legacy brands that have been around since like 2009. And when they put 100 Thieves in this Founding Fathers LAN, nobody batted an eye that 100 Thieves was a part of it, even though we've only been around for like 7 years. So that was kind of like something that I was like hiding away from everybody that I thought was really cool. But the LAN itself was like really dope. It came together really quickly. Like Banks is all in on FaZe again. They got the business back. And so the event was perfect timing. It was kind of like in a lull of Call of Duty right now. It's a weird time until the new game comes out. This is when everybody's not really like focused on it. Summer started, yada, yada, yada. And it was just the perfect timing. Like the electricity of Banks really being all in with FaZe again. And then me and Hector doing something officially after me leaving Optic together. It was a big deal. But that fucking match was a setup, brother. This motherfucker, dude, listen, these motherfuckers are like Banks stands. Anytime they hear me talk about this, they come in and they try to talk their shit. My favorite bit is like today, somebody comes into my chat, said, "Oh, you're playing Call of Duty, Banks beat you that bad? Like, you getting your ass kicked, you're going over a different game?" I'll just say to him, I know real life is kicking your ass right now, brother. I know you're over there struggling, dude. So I'd rather lose a 1v1 to Banks, dude. You child life 1v1 and you are losing, brother. That's insane. But they got it coming. This guy Banks bought the Xbox 360 and he was practicing landing like against FaZe snipers at his house, which is not against the rules. Here I am, bro. Nobody will believe me. If you compare me and Banks in like basketball, I'm like fucking Kobe Bryant. And this guy is, he's not even in the fucking G League. And it's not disrespect to Ricky. He just wasn't like that. You know, like he did sniping. I did professional Call of Duty. Like it's completely different form, completely different guns. You're making all the excuses, Nadeshot.
No, I get it.
I got set up, bro. He's practicing this shit. Bro, I play on a 360 hertz monitor nowadays. And I play with a PlayStation 5 controller. Bro, I got on this Xbox 360 on stage, bro. He had a wired controller. I'm like, what the fuck? He had a scuff. I found out he had been practicing for the last like week, 7 days. And then I'm on a wireless controller playing on this fucking, oh my God, bro. There was like a 2-second delay on the analog sticks. I will say there was no amount of practicing that I was going to do to win that match. Like I never would have won because he clearly spent years of his life grinding Rust 1v1s. I didn't think these motherfuckers actually did that shit, dude. I got set up. It's like a professional baseball player showing up to a carnival game of throwing.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And we got the carny who's just this sick bastard.
Right.
This motherfucker is smoking 24 cigarettes, an entire pack a day, just wailing on these balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Are you gonna run it back?
Fuck no. I will not win that shit.
You need to bring him to Valorant.
I need to bring him to a modern COD. We could snipe. We could do
the
the whole
new
thing.
COD. The new COD. You need to run that when it's hot,
Yeah.
like you're saying with like I just seen the iPhones, dude. You'd get it while it's hot. Run
Yeah.
another event back.
Facts, dude. Fuck Ricky Banks. Your work sucks too.
That's so funny. Okay, zooming out just a little bit. Future of 100 Thieves and kind of this direction that you're taking it. You've taken control back with the content that you're doing. What do you feel like the next like month and a half, next few months is going to look like? You're moving to Texas. We got a lot of new stuff.
We brought up golf for a good reason though.
No, we did. Why do we bring
I
it up?
think you said let's zoom out and talk about the future of esports.
Future of esports.
That's
nice.
great
Wait
work.
it. That's what.
remember it.
He just dropped the bookmark on us.
Yep.
So, speaking of ADHD, we got it. He doesn't. And that's like how this whole thing works.
That's how it works.
You're the organized guy.
Yeah.
You're like you
He
can
does
complete
I got
tasks.
He
got
does
all
the
the
notes. Like
questions.
this is him right
Okay.
here. You know.
You're exactly what my wife is. Like
Nice.
I actually kind of believe in like AB personalities. My wife is literally like bro. I wouldn't be paying my taxes if I didn't have my wife. It's crazy. My entire life is like on autopilot, and descend into madness like on the internet for 10 hours a day. My wife handles everything, and she's so good at it.
She sounds rad.
You guys got to keep him around.
Yeah.
Or you boys
He
are
keeps us
fucked.
around.
She's actually the reason why you got here today.
Yeah. No, dude, I told Brandon right away. I'm like, because not that I'm, fucking way too important for anything. I just get so many texts because we have a lot of employees and a lot of inbound, and I don't text anybody back. I don't text my dad because I'll read it and I'm like, I gotta reply to that. Never gets replied. 2 days go by. I'm like, then I have to explain how awkward this is, and I'm not gonna. So, shout out Haley Haig.
Shout out.
Yeah. Shout out you. They need you, brother. They need you. You're irreplaceable.
He is.
Damn straight.
He
Yeah.
is.
So you manic fucks, like you guys better ride this one out. Say something crazy so we get 1 million views on TikTok.
So future of esports.
Future of 100 Thieves.
future
Next
100
few
Thieves.
months.
So listen, esports is kind of in a tough place right now. All of gaming is, I think, in a tough place. It's kind of in a lull where there's not many new games coming out. The entire communities, they all feel a little disjointed. And you went through COVID where everybody was inside, everybody was playing games, and some of the best moments people have had. And now all the memes are, and just like the general way people feel is like, oh, gaming wasn't the same that it's the way that it used to be. Like it just doesn't hit the same. And so it's like the best opportunities are when things are down. Like if the market's down and you got cash to spend, you're going to be up in like a year. You buy when the markets are low. And so I think doubling down, I think the most important part is for 100 Thieves to be just a legacy brand in gaming. I don't think that it needs to be $100 million a year revenue business. As long as we're profitable and we can control how long 100 Thieves is around for, I think we just need to withstand the test of time. Because I do believe gaming will continue to grow. And I do believe that competitive gaming will continue to grow. That's the beautiful part, which can be a good thing and a bad thing, but there's always going to be another Minecraft, another Fortnite, another Valorant. And I also think too, which could be like somebody thinking I'm fucking on psilocybin over here. I think the barrier of entry with esports is kind of tough because if you don't watch these games and you don't play them, you don't understand them. If somebody asks you to watch this esports tournament, you'd be like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like you can turn on a game of basketball and figure out what's happening. I think with AI and virtual reality, augmented reality, the viewership experience for esports is going to actually be better. And you still have to solve that barrier of entry part. Like that's why Rocket League is great because it's like 2 cars, 2 nets, you get it. But I think we just need to stick around, get to the company profitability. We're in a good place of doing that. It's attainable in the very near future, and just control our own destiny and just stick around.
Hell yeah.
Like there's highs and lows of the NBA. There's highs and lows of the NFL. I'm not saying that it'll ever be like a multi-billion-dollar franchise, but if we love the brand, we need to preserve it, and we need to preserve it through good decision making and staying relevant in the ways that we're proud of, not because we need to make cash.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, I appreciate you so much for coming on. You got another one?
The last one?
Our last question?
That's what I was going with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for
Okay. I got one more for you. Okay. What would your advice be to your 18-year-old self before you go back, before you start 100 Thieves, take on this journey? What would that be?
Honestly, man, I'm like my harshest critic, and it drives me insane. Again, double-edged sword. It's good and bad. I don't think I'd be here in the position that I'm in if I wasn't so manic about the things and the decisions that I'm making and thinking about things so deeply. I told people on stream today, I don't think I'm like overly intelligent. I think I'm just intelligent anyway. I think I'm just too self-aware, and I hate certain things about me, and it just is this never-ending battle of like, this could have been better, that should have been said this way, I should have uploaded this clip 2 days ago instead of today. You gotta just fucking roll with the punches, man. Like, I'm giving myself that advice now. I'm not going to take it tomorrow, but it's nice to think that in some weird way that I can win over my negative qualities I think I have. You can't beat yourself up too much or it'll drive you crazy. I would also say, I don't know. It's a very nice thought-provoking question. I wouldn't make decisions for money. It's easy to say, again, champagne problems, fucking first world problem. I know you don't want to hear somebody who's done decently well for himself say like, hey, don't make decisions for money. It sounds like fucking bullshit. It's like when you talk about being stressed out on stream and they're like, how could you be mad? You've got millions of dollars. How could you be upset about something? I'm like, dude, I promise you, like, I pray that you can find success in whatever ways you want, because you will learn that no matter what, problems are relative. And I think that you just need to just keep yourself grounded and make decisions because you love it. Because one day you're going to find that success and you're going to miss the days when you were struggling. J. Cole had like a great quote about that. I know it'd be better if I had like Socrates or something, but J. Cole said some smart shit. He's like, I almost missed the struggle. Or maybe it was Big Sean. I don't fucking know. I saw it on TikTok.
Well,
I hate making decisions for cash. Like, so obviously sometimes you can't avoid it. You have to do things that you don't want to do. But if you really love something and you want it to be something that you'll continue to love, you can't muck it up with dollar signs.
I appreciate it. Nadeshot, episode 120 of the 505 Pod. If you're still here, leave us a subscribe, hit the comment button. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.